Hi, welcome at the Behind the Music live stream on the YouTube channel of FaceCulture. Today we have a guest from a band that, well, we haven't interviewed them yet on FaceCulture, so for us it's the first time that we actually talk to this band. Well, we're not going to let you wait any longer. Let the band introduce themselves.
Hello, Skerryvore here.
Everybody wants to live this life forever, forever. If there is somewhere else, are we going there together, together? Everybody wants to live this life forever, forever. If there is somewhere else, are we going there together, together forever?
Here we have Alec.
Hello.
Hi, Alec. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Are you too?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I think I had a slight delay there, but I think we're okay.
No, you're on. Where are you located now? I see keys and I see, well, microphones. Where are you sitting now?
I'm just in my sort of home studio, kind of just a small thing that I've kind of been building up through the sort of lockdown period. So I've always done a little bit of recording at home, but I've obviously started to do more. So I've added bits and pieces and have a small studio now.
Okay, what was it like this last 1.5 year for you, COVID and all the restrictions? What did it do to you?
I mean, obviously it was devastating for how many gigs that we lost. So that's the obvious part, is that we lost lots of work that we would normally do. But in other ways, it was quite nice because we're such a busy band. We tour like a lot of the year and all over the place for weeks at a time. So in some ways, it's been quite nice to have a break and have more time to be with family and to write music, when I find it quite difficult to be on tour and to write albums at the same time, and we don't really afford enough time to do both kind of things. So yeah, it's obviously a big blow to the industry when most of our work is based on live performances, and you don't really get paid enough money from people streaming your music, etc., etc. But it has had its advantages too, so we can't complain about all of it.
Did you have some extra money saved somewhere, or did you have to do an extra job?
Yeah, I didn't have any money saved. No, fortunately, I haven't had to sell any guitars or anything. But yeah, I wasn't sensible enough to realize that as a musician, if I don't play the guitar, then I won't have any money.
So how did you come through this difficult time?
I mean, we've done a few live streams. We tried as a band. We wanted to do, if we were going to do a live stream, we wanted to make it as good a production as we would do when we played live. We didn't want to just be doing something small every week so that people would just become bored with it. So we've done like 3, I think, sort of full production live streams in different special locations throughout Scotland. But personally, I've been doing sort of less formal gigs, and building up my own Facebook page and stuff, and doing on a Friday, usually at about this time on a Friday night. Actually, I would do a live stream, and I'll do like Skerryvore songs and my own songs, and then I'll take some requests from the audience, and that's gathered a good audience, and they've supported me and helped me through the sort of pandemic financially as well, which has been amazing. So I wouldn't have been able to keep going, I don't think, without the very dedicated Skerryvore fans.
That's good. Well, you mentioned your own songs and Skerryvore songs. If we go back quickly to, well, when you started playing the guitar and singing, what artist, what band, what singer-songwriter maybe influenced you?
Yeah, so within the band, we've got quite a varied sort of influence. But for me, I was kind of brought up like a lot of people with my parents' music, which was made up of, you know, pop music from 50s, 60s, 70s and onwards. So, you know, the Beatles and the Beach Boys and lots of pop of the 60s and 70s, I think, was probably the thing that I really liked listening to first when I was a kid. And then when I got into playing guitar and stuff, I would listen to like the usual guitar geniuses like Clapton. I was a big fan of Clapton and Santana and Martin Knopfler. And then as I sort of grew a bit older, I listened to more songwriters and stuff as well. You know, like Joni Mitchell and Jackson Browne, and the Eagles is probably one of my all-time favorite bands. But I'm generally a fan of lots of different types of music, but I'd say my main influence would be in the sort of pop, rock, country kind of genre, I suppose.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do? Well, I've selected a few videos from the Skerryvore legacy. We're gonna, well, with quick step, we're gonna walk through your history, and then well, listen to the new song at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a release from 2010 album. Skerryvore. It was named Skerryvore 2. It's Path to Home.
Wherever we may go, our bloodline flows. We'll always find a path to home. Our heritage and clans, pride in our land. We'll always find a path to home.
How important is your legacy? I mean the heritage. You sing Path to Home, the heritage. How important is it for you as a band? Obviously, you have Celtic influence, of course, but
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of the band, because obviously our sound has developed a lot over the years, where there are, even before Path to Home, there's much earlier stuff that's way more tradition based, you know, and we started as a band which would play for people just to dance to, you know. It was all instrumental stuff with the folk instruments. So we always wanted to continue to have that element within the music, regardless of which route we went down. So it's obviously, we have managed, I think, to keep that influence there, even though some of the music's become more in a pop music kind of vein. So yeah, it's definitely an important factor, because that's what kind of got us where we are now. You know, we weren't just another pop rock band who made it big and got on the radio and everybody knew who we were. We played all around small town halls and all over the Western Isles of Scotland and stuff, and that's really what gave us the fan base that we still have today. So that kind of music that brought us here is always important to keep going.
if you have to describe that western part of Scotland with all the isles over there, you were named after a lighthouse.
That's right. Yeah.
How would you describe the atmosphere, the scenery over there? What does it give to you?
Yeah, the west coast of Scotland is probably, I mean, arguably the most beautiful part of Scotland. It's kind of very wild and rugged, and the beaches. You know, when you're on a beach in the west coast of Scotland, you probably wouldn't believe you were in Scotland. The sand is pure white, and the sea is tropical and stuff. You know, you only know you're in Scotland once you get out of the car and you you feel the wind blowing in your face, or you try and go in the sea that looks like Hawaii, but once you get in a certain depth of the sea, especially if you're a man, you know that you're not in Hawaii and that you're definitely in Scotland. So yeah, but it's a beautiful part of the world, and some of the most amazing people live in the west coast of Scotland as well. Of course, I say that because that's where our fan base started. So yeah,
that's good. And this song "Path to Home" and the album. If you look back on all the albums that you have recorded, where does this album stand for you? Is it an important album?
Yeah, this one was particularly important for us because it was at the point where we had to sort of make a decision because we were this what's known as a Ceilidh band, essentially. Ceilidh music is the music that we dance to for parties and weddings and stuff. So we were that kind of band, and we wanted to be a band that could be taken seriously enough to play at festivals and headline festivals with our own songs that we wrote. And that this album was really like a sort of crossover between that. So it was quite a big step because we worried that will we lose lots of people who just liked the guys they knew, like, you know, these guys that we'd meet and I know the Skerryvore guys and they play the local pub, and we didn't want to act like we were sort of too big for our boots, like we'd forgotten any of that. So it was important. It was important to keep the balance. So and I think it brought us a new fan base as well as hopefully keeping the one that we had. So that was the big step with that album.
Yeah. People can also ask questions. I mean, over there in the chat. Let me go to next song. It's called On the Road.
We're on the road again. There's no stopping us. We're on the road.
You already mentioned that, well, you're a band that plays live a lot. Being on the road, what is the essence for you of being on the road?
The essence of us being on the road, well, I mean, I think being on the road is it's the essence of the band, because that's really how we got where we are. You know, like I said, it wasn't through having a record label or getting radio play. So being on the road to us is really the most important thing, because we also find that we have, because of the sort of nature of the instrumentation in the band and the nature of how we sort of present a show live, we do get a lot of people who say that it's difficult to come across in an album, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. We've never really, we didn't start as sort of musicians who came up with concepts for albums. We fell into being a band together and just started playing live. We never even figured out what songs we were going to play sometimes until we were on the stage together. So the whole thing was made up from being a live band. So it is the heart of what we do.
Yeah. Is it hard for you to to maintain that, to pick it up again now you've been out of being on the road so long?
Yeah, I think it'll be difficult when we get back to playing again, because we've had so much time off, and fortunately, it all stopped at a point in our career where we already had a good fan base. We had a lot of support, so we can sort of pick it up again because we have the fan base still there. I feel bad for people who were on the way up and just starting a career, and then this happened and the whole thing, disappears, and they do need to completely start again. I think that, we were fortunate to have the fan base already there and still supporting us. We need to see what it's like once we actually play in front of people. If we can still do it, we'll find out.
To wait and see then. Well, then after Skerryvore, you've released the album World of Chances. It's a song that we're going to look at now from that album.
We're the lucky ones, without a doubt, we're the lucky ones. Just having fun, young and free until these days are done. But I don't wanna go up, I just wanna be me for the rest of my life. Live for the day, know that you're a lucky one.
Well, the song is called "We Are the Lucky Ones." What did you mean by that back then?
I mean, it's such a long time ago. I wonder now what did I mean. It's great to watch these videos as well because, as you can imagine, I haven't seen them for a very long time, and even if we now sing these songs, it's like, oh, we don't even do it like that anymore. Just
Okay,
I forgot that's how it was. But yeah, I think I just meant that we as a band are just lucky to be like having the kind of life that we wanted to live by being, on the road and everything sort of like progressing the way we wanted it to be and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And the what was the album? Because it was released 2 years after the Skerryvore album. I think your previous output has been less frequent. What was it like, the cycle for you? I mean, releasing every 2 years a new album, the World of Chances album, if you compare it to the Skerryvore album.
Yeah, so I think we've done an album like a couple of years after, and that, to be honest, because we were so busy, that was probably as quick as we could get another album out with how much we would be touring. And I think we thought, that we should try and do something from the back of how successful the Skerryvore album went. We thought we better get another one out, and we usually think like that if things are going well, keep going and bring something new out. But we find it so difficult because, like I say, we have the best of intentions, and then we go to America for 6 weeks and come back for a week and then go away for 2 weeks, and then an album takes much longer to come out. But that World of Chances album was sort of probably more difficult than the one before because we wanted to progress even more doing our own songs and stuff. So there's a lot more of my songs on that album, and maybe less instrumental sets and less cover songs and stuff. So that one was probably even more difficult because then we had even more stuff to worry about. Will people like our own songs, and are we pushing further this way when they want us to go that way? So, but you have to just do what you think is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah. So can I say that you're more of a touring band than a studio band, recording band?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, personally, I would love it to be somewhat a little bit more the other way, or at least somewhere down the middle. But maybe that's just because I'm getting slightly older or something. I mean, not that I'm that old, but just we've been doing it since I was 17, and now I'm going to be 36, and that's all I've ever done. I haven't really had a proper job or anything. So, yeah, we're definitely more of a live band, and that's how we've a lot of the time come up with, we'll play a new song live and then we decide whether it's going to go on the album and stuff like that, Whereas this time in lockdown has given me personally more time to go, well, I'm going to do it all in the studio and get it how I think it should be in my head, and now we still need to play it in front of people, so it might be terrible, but
no, but so it gives you the time to actually work properly and have the time to come up with the best songs that you think you can make.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think every time you make a piece of music, you listen to it a year later or years later, and you go, "Oh, I wish I'd done this," or whatever, Whereas, and you'll always do that. There'll always be something that you just wish you could change. But I think, like you say, I've been given a lot more time when I'm writing, and a lot more time in this studio where I'm not paying somebody money to be in it every hour, so I can sit for hours or leave it and come back for more hours. And I think that time for me has helped a lot to get things better. I think better songs that I've written and better production or arrangement in the way I'd seen it in my head. So
yeah. 2014 you released the album Chasing the Sun. We picked a song from that album too.
Come together, one and find the strength that lies deep within your heart. There'll be an answer rising from the dark. Take your chances, take them all. The battle can be won, but a few must fall. Separate the truth from all the lies that have been thrown. Show the world your face, you're not alone.
Is this some cry for attention? Can you hear us, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of the very first thing when I started writing this song was I wrote the music in my head. I thought it sounded like a kind of powerful song that I could imagine our very good friends Ron and Magda loving. And they're actually our Dutch friends who we first met in Scotland and who got us to start playing in Holland. So I wrote that song for them, more in the sort of like feeling of the music rather than the words, because the words are more based towards a time where Scotland was being asked whether it wanted to be independent from the United Kingdom, you know, and about sort of politicians, you know, are you listening to us because we're asking for independence here, but yeah, sadly for me, we didn't get independence, but that's kind of some of the feelings that were behind the words of that song.
Do you think it will happen in your lifetime?
I mean, I personally hope so.
Why?
I just think that it makes more sense for Scotland to have independence simply on the fact that our number of population is too small to make a difference in the vote. So it doesn't really matter who we vote for. England can always outweigh that vote by a large majority. So we won't ever have the government that we personally vote for. So I think it would be a sensible idea to have a government that could make its own decisions for its own country. You know, I think there's a good chance that it'll happen within my lifetime, because I think people younger than me probably want it more than me, or people older than me want it. So once a lot of old people are gone, it's the decision for young people. It's them that they have to live through it. So maybe they'll decide.
That's true, but maybe once you're old, and your vote might change too.
Yeah, perhaps.
I don't know.
Who knows?
No, it's good to hear. Is it for you, if you look back on that album, Chasing the Sun, what was meant by it?
Yeah, so this was I mean, it's one of those things again, like because we're touring heavily, we don't always come up with an album. We go, right, this is the concept of this album. We've got all this time we want to spend on it. We start to write songs, and eventually songs either make the cut or don't make the cut. So it's essentially like another collection of songs that we think are things we want to play live, that we think our audience are going to enjoy. And this one, I think, had that sort of feel. We wanted it to have a sort of summer vibe to it, you know, it's a soundtrack for people's summer, which I think you'll probably find, if you asked me, would be a common theme through things that I write. You know, I haven't written a lot of songs until I got a bit older that are about anything particularly sad. You know, it's all about, I want everyone to have like a good summer and have a good time, and things to be more like mostly positive. So that was the kind of feeling behind Chasing the Sun, I think.
Well, you said you had a collection of songs, but then the next year you had a party. You threw a party on disc, because the band existed a decade.
Yeah.
And you released the album Decade with songs from the previous 10 years. Let's take a look at it. What was for you the idea behind the album Decade? To look back and to stand still with everything that you have had achieved?
Yeah, it was more just to coincide with the big celebration that we, you know, we wanted to mark that occasion not only with the event, which we, you know, we had that, like you said, a huge party. We wanted to have an actual album that reflected things we'd done, and we put a couple of new things. You know, we put a new song on there. But yeah, it was mostly a reflection of what we'd done, because I don't think any of us could believe that we got to 10 years, you know, and even seeing how long ago that now is, it seems so strange. But we wanted to make that concert the biggest thing we'd ever done by ourselves, because we played at festivals that were as big as that or bigger, but they weren't run by us. So we wanted to see we put on a concert and say, how many people can we get to come to this, you know? And I think they ended up being like 6,000 people or something like that we had at the concert. So it was probably one of the most special gigs in our career.
And the what was it for you to actually work on this project? What did it learn? What did you learn from it?
Yeah, I think actually it was nice to learn that we didn't know exactly what to put on it, because, you know, sometimes what happens is that every time we write a new album, we forget about the old stuff and we think, oh, I mean, this stuff's all much better, so we hardly do any of the old songs. But it was quite nice, because when we looked at this album, we had to look at all the songs that we'd ever done and then go, oh, I remember that song. Oh, maybe we should put that song on. And we had a lot more material, and I think even we realized, because you're just so busy just getting on with stuff and trying to do something new, that, you know, you forget all the stuff you've had before. I think perhaps it's different if you're a band that's been so commercially successful that they've got hit after hit after hit. You're never going to forget that you wrote, you know, Desperado or something, or you're never going to forget that you wrote something that was a huge hit. But we have like so many songs that we go, oh, actually, you know, I forgot we used to do that, and people used to enjoy that one. So it was good fun to look back ourselves and pick things that we thought people would like to hear, you know.
What did you learn from your songs, from your back catalog songs?
Yeah, I think the sort of songwriting process for me has been quite a thing that I've come to slowly, I think, and late in life. You know, you get a lot of people who write songs and they're just like 5 or 6 years old and they're already like poets writing little songs. I was more of a musical person than I was a poet, and that's still probably the case. I always thought of myself as more of a guy writing melodies and stuff, but so looking back over the songs, I'm not. It's not that I'm not proud of things I wrote at all, but sometimes you go, oh, I would have changed that word, or oh, what have I said there, you know? But these are the things that I'm sure everybody does. But ultimately, I think the 10 years thing was we had a lot of pride that we'd managed to get that far from being 4 guys who used to play in the pub together.
Yeah, then, well, it took you 3 years for your new album. It's Evo. I don't know how you pronounce it, but sorry?
Evo, yeah. Evo,
yeah. Well, then there's one line and one song. I think maybe it's a wish of yourself, but we're going to ask you after that when we see the song.
Time to see what's in your heart. Trying not to be what's keeping us apart. You see the light while I'm stuck here in the dark. And then you said we can't stay like this, and then you said we're just not the same as useless for me to wish that there was just nothing in our way. Everybody wants to live this life forever, forever. If there is somewhere else, are we going there together?
Are you actually in the video doing the running and the cycling?
No, that's not me. That's somebody who's a professional athlete. So I was probably in the pub at that point when that was being filmed. But
Okay. Well, the song "Live Forever." What is the theme for you with it?
yeah, that's a sort of it's a difficult one to answer. Really, it started at something that was more of a very personal song, and then as sometimes happens, you're maybe not willing to admit to the whole world exactly what you're talking about, because you don't want it to be too personal towards you. So the general theme is mostly about I guess wanting to be with somebody when it's not really possible. That would be the sort of the main theme, without going too deep into any emotions that that I don't want to.
Well, if you want to, feel free, of course.
No, I think we'll keep it generic for that.
Generic, okay, that's good. Is it hard for you to open up?
I think it can be, yeah. I think it can be quite vulnerable, and perhaps it would be easier if it was just me as a songwriter, but I'm supposed to be representing the whole band, so sometimes it's difficult because of that. I wouldn't mind as much talking about things that were maybe more personal if I was just writing it for me, but
Yeah, why is it more difficult within the space of the band then?
I just feel like, although I write all the songs, that I've always tried to represent a sort of a theme that might suit the band more. That's not like a solo singer songwriter, if you know what I mean. Because I feel like if people know I wrote it, then it's just another band song that's about some relationship I had, or and that's like, well, do the rest of the guys in the band care about you moaning about this stuff?
Of course they do, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they do if they take it as a general theme. If it's something everybody's been through, perhaps
Yeah.
But definitely, I think because we've been a band that's been so much from the start about entertaining people. Of course, music is there to entertain people, but I mean, before we wrote songs, we were there to make people just dance and jump around and have a good time. I found it more difficult to fit in themes that are overly personal within that sort of type of music and the type of band that we are and the sort of like instruments that we have, as well.
Yeah, well, sounds good. Then, well, a more previous release, The Last Time.
Last Time.
Do you think you fooled us? Do you think you're wise? I hope you know that you're someone we despise and we don't need you. We've heard it for the last time. 'Cause you're always saying something and it never really works. You always do it your way, never listening to us. Avoiding all the questions with your clever play on words. You shouldn't be allowed to get away with it. You said the same the last time.
So, who do you prefer, Donald Trump or Boris Johnson?
I mean, that's as our first minister said, that's like asking if I want to be hit by a bus or a truck. Yeah, there's no good answer to that.
No good answer. No, but I think it's like you just mentioned, the music and the lyrics of Skerryvore being entertainment. This is a serious song, of course.
Yeah, this one's definitely more serious. The thing actually that sparked that song at the very first emotion was we had a manager, our now ex-manager, and it turned out that he was just a bit of a liar and a cheat, and basically, you know, ruined a lot of things for us, stole some money from us, and the classic, you know,
Classic, yeah.
bad manager. We shouldn't have done this, you know. So originally, that's what sparked the song, you know, and then the more I thought about it, more of the emotions were also tying into all the politicians of the day, and I mean, I was thinking about it at a specific time, but that kind of emotion and within politics, you could probably tag that to any point in time, because there's always one politician or another who is lying or cheating or saying they were going to do one thing and not doing it, you know. So,
but do you feel that way about all politicians, or is it just a few? Do you still have faith in the system? I mean, in the democratic system.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, but it seems to be a vast majority of politicians are in it for the wrong reason. You know, the wrong type of people to be in politics. You know, if you're already very rich, I don't think you should be allowed to be a politician for a start, because you're not going to know anything about what most normal people need. You know, but. Yeah, I think there are still some good politicians who do get into it to help people and to make things right within their country, you know. But I don't think they're very often the ones who actually get into the main force of power. So
yeah, well, yeah, it's a bit of a problem, of course, because we only see the things that go wrong, obviously. But well, you have to have a system, of course. So
yeah.
What system do you choose? But another release, I think it's was this release 2020, and the next song that we're gonna watch, You and I, were those written prior to Corona, or exactly within the pandemic?
Yeah, You and I, that was one of the ones that was written within the pandemic. So this is one of the songs where I've done it in my studio and done the demo the way that I wanted it to kind of sound, and sent it to the guys to see if, you know, we wanted to work in it. So basically just the idea of like, let's see if we can keep some music going. We're going to struggle to do a whole album, you know, because this was much earlier, before you were really allowed to meet anybody at all and stuff. But so that was the first song that I did in this little studio, and then we got together and recorded bit by bit. So
well, let's take a look at it then.
As the city lights go down and the amber fills the sky, it's only you and I, just another night in this old town, and we walked without a care through the streets we knew so well. It's only you and I, and the sweetness of the summer air. You and I, we held each other tight. Time will take its toll, but I'll never let you go. Your love is like a high.
The song based upon your own experiences?
yeah, this was like, I mean, it's something I wanted people to take as a song of their own, but I wanted it to be like a summer love song kind of thing, you know. And my wife's name's Amber, and her name is sort of in the song and stuff as well. So yeah, this is like slightly more personal, but again, I think I wanted it to be something that you took as whatever way you wanted, you know. The funny thing is actually that I don't know, most people won't know, because most people who are fans haven't been inside my house, but that video is inside my house when they're sort of fighting there, and the guy who did the video asked, you know, if I would be the guy in the video, and I was like, oh, and he said, oh, it's going to be easy, all you need to do is like really, really basic acting, you know. And I'm just like, I'm not sure I'd be comfortable, I'm not very comfortable on camera. And I said no, and then I saw what they ended up doing, and I was like, thank God I didn't do that. I would have hated it.
Well, but like you're saying, the theme of this song, and actually, well, using your own house, well, it shows me of that. Well, you've come a long way when you compare it to those songs that you've written before. Now you actually will show yourself a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah. And it's something that I would perhaps think about in the future as being more like that. You know, it's just we come from such a scene where we're not pop stars straight away. We're not like get me in front of the camera and I'm going to sing and dance. And I was just a guy who played guitar and was made to sing. You know, so maybe one day I'll also be the guy dancing in front of the camera, but it's not today. I don't think.
Well then, well, I think it's been released today. I mean the YouTube video, Together Again. It's the same theme as you and I. You and I are fighting, and then, well, together again.
Well, this one was sort of like, I mean, I wanted to write another song quickly after You and I, because You and I probably did better than any song that we've ever released, because it got play on BBC Radio 2, which is the United Kingdom's biggest radio station. So we got playlisted with that on BBC Radio 2. So we wanted to have something that was going to be a good follow up. So I was writing things, and then I came up with this song, Together Again. And I think that sounds like a good next song. But the theme of this song is really more about the feeling that we all have at that point of just being, we want to be reunited with people doing normal things again. We want to see our friends and family, and you know, that's literally what it is, together again, as if even though we've been apart for months and months, we'll start again like we've never been apart, because you know that's what it's like when you're best friends and family and loved ones, you know.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it, and then we're gonna. Well, there's a question that was sent in, and we're gonna answer that question. You are gonna answer the question, of course. Take a look at Together Again.
Hey, how you doing? How's life been treating you? It's been so long since we've all been together now, and I know we took it all for granted. The sweetest love is always there for you. Oh, oh. Sweetest thing. Oh, 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 the sweetest thing. And I'll be back with you someday, and life will move on like we were never away. It's been real tough, but we're making it up together, together, together.
I think you know the person who sent the question in, but here he is. Arno Blom. How did the lockdown affect you guys on the family side of things?
Yeah, hello Arno. Yeah, Arno's a great guy. He also he's our agent in Holland, so he's the guy who now organises anytime we play in Holland. So we appreciate him a lot. He's a good guy. But yeah, so how did lockdown affect you guys on the family side? I mean, I think it's been great for especially the guys, because a lot of the guys have kids, you know, as Ono knows, and being away a lot. I think that's pretty hard on them to be back with the kids. Must be nice, and certainly for me, it's been nice to be able to spend a bit more time with my wife, because we just got married, you know, and then the lockdown happened. We only got married just in time, you know, before the lockdown happened. So it's certainly been, I think, the biggest positive outcome of the pandemic for Skerryvore is that little chunk of time, and perhaps it makes you realise that it's important enough that we should do, you know, not every single gig, you know, just take a little bit of time and go, there's some time for the music and there's some time to be back with the family. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that more often now if we can afford to do that.
Well, Arno sends his big love to you.
Yeah. Cheers, Arno.
What are your plans now? Well, is it now more focused on charts too? Because you said on BBC Radio picked it up. You released another song. I think it's a bit more popular. There are still some influences from your heritage, but not like 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So what are your goals? You want to score the hits and then play the hits, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the dream would be to have the song on radio as much as the last song was. So that would be what we'd love to happen, but there's never a guarantee with that. So you have to just continue regardless. But we'll certainly try and do everything we can to promote this new single. So we'll be working on that for the next week or so, at least, putting out more content of, different versions of the song and going online and chatting and maybe doing some Facebook lives and things. So in the very near future, we'll be in together again mode to promoting that single as much as we can. But you never know what can come from that. Had we been out of a lockdown and had that success, then maybe every festival in the world would have been phoning saying, "Oh, we heard you're on radio too. Can you play here?" But there were no festivals to play it. So maybe that might help push us on. But we're always just doing as much as we can to just get more people to hear us, because we don't have a record label who can spend hundreds of thousands of pounds. So that's really what we're pushing forward with. And we have a few dates still in the diary to look forward to, as long as nothing else goes horribly wrong. Then we have some gigs in England. We have an American tour for a few weeks, and we also have some dates in Holland, which you can find on the website. So we're looking forward to all of that, and hopefully these songs that we're writing as singles will form the part of a new album at some point in the near future, the start of next year or whenever we can get there.
So next year maybe a new album then.
Hope so. Yeah. Don't quote me on it. But
if you keep on working like you do now, then it is a possibility.
It's possible, yeah, and that's what we hope for. Yeah.
That's good. Alec, may I thank you for your time?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been nice talking to you.
Yes. Well, I've been looking forward, and I think you play in October. You play in Holland. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think so. Yeah. I'm the guy who never knows where he's going. Ono knows. He's the guy who books it. Ono knows when we're playing. But if you check Skerryvore.com, all the details are always there, and we'll be announcing all the things as we go along. But it'd be good to see you at the gig, Martin. If you can make it, please come along.
Yeah, I think I will try to make it if I have the time.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, thanks, Alec. I'm gonna leave this hour with some music again. Alec, enjoy your time, and looking forward to seeing you again.
Cheers. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Bye. Well, this was the live stream with Skerryvore. I hope you enjoyed it, and obviously we're gonna end this hour with some music by the band.
The sweetest thing.